Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the daily cricket show, Cricket Happenings. And well, what a start for Australia in the first test match of the series. Oh, that was a great start for Australia in the test series as Australia handed over India a very humiliating defeat by a very huge margin of 333 runs, and that too, the manner of how they defeated India is something one has to really remember, as India were defeated inside 3 days on the first test match. And what a wonderful innings from Stephen Smith on an absolutely ranked turner. And one has to say it also brought an end. It was the last time, it was, I think it was in 2004 that Australia had a victory in a test match against India in India. And here comes the victory, which can only be all the more sweeter for them, as this is after a long time that the Aussies have actually beaten India, and they can be absolutely proud about it. It was a matter, but one was really surprised at the way the Indians were humiliated. One knows that Stephen Smith definitely rode a very charmed life when he was dropped 3 times the previous day, but again, to score a century on this particular pitch really speaks volumes of Stephen Smith. 109 with 11 boundaries. Take a bow. And once again, it was once Stephen Smith had done the job, Steve O'Keefe got the ball and once again returned identical figures of 6 wickets for 35 runs to once again start the Indian slide, and in the process picking up 12 wickets, his first 10-wicket bag in Test cricket. And what a match for the man of the match, Steve O'Keefe, the left-arm spinner, absolutely making waves here. And one has to really commend Steve O'Keefe for such a wonderful performances. I would say the Aussies have actually outsmarted India in all the departments of the game. And so I'll be talking about that as far as this particular match is concerned. And also there was a New Zealand versus South Africa. In fact, South Africa took a 2-1 lead with a very big win over the New Zealanders, as the New Zealanders lost, in fact on a slow pitch. It was the South Africans making 273, and then it was the turn of the Kiwis to actually bat, but they really struggled, and they lost 6 wickets for 60 runs to be all out for 113. It was a tame surrender by the New Zealanders, as South Africa took a 2-1 lead in the 5-match ODI series, as they won the match by 159 runs. So definitely I am going to start off with the Australia versus India. We are talking about the third day's play, and let's see as to how the Indian innings folded for 107 and what Australia did on the third day. Well, as far as Australia were concerned, it was Stephen Smith at the crease along with Mitchell Marsh. Well, one good thing that India did was they got Mitchell Marsh wicket with the best bowler of the day being Ravindra Jadeja, who was really making the batsmen think. Now this was the difference. Steve O'Keefe and Jadeja was not able to get the wickets, but could not get a lot of wickets. But on the other hand, Steve O'Keefe, an identical bowler like Jadeja, was very difficult to pick, because one did not know which is the ball which is going to turn and which is the ball which is going to go straight, as I would be talking about that. So Mitchell Marsh was the first to go, caught by Ridhiman Shah, bowled Jadeja for 31. 4 fours, and Matthew Wade started giving company to Stephen Smith, as he made 20 with 2 boundaries, becoming a victim of Umesh Yadav. Mitchell Stark went on in his own fashion that he did in the first innings of biffing the Indian bowlers for 4s and 6s, as he contributed 30 with 2 4s and 3 6s, and Steve O'Keefe was out for 6 to the bowling of Jadeja, Nathan Lyon making 13 and Hazelwood not a 2. But the innings that really stood out was Stephen Smith, who really as I said, on a rank turner, an absolute rank turner, to make a century, and this was the 5th century by Stephen Smith, his 5th consecutive century against India, carrying forward from where he left off in the series, where Stephen Smith actually dominated that series against India, as you would remember. And Stephen Smith was absolutely, one has to really commend, to make 109 runs on such a turning track requires a lot of skills. And one also has to say that Australia have learned their lessons very well. They were really given an absolute rank turners in Sri Lanka, where the spinners absolutely ruled the roost, and the Australians were found like they were like sitting ducks. But they have learned their lessons pretty quickly, and what they did, they enacted that against India in the most admirable manner. And one has to give a lot of credit to the Aussies for actually bringing Indians to book. And India also ended their 19 wins record that they had, that was ended today by the Stephen Smith's team. The bowling, Ashwin 4 for 119, 3 for 65, Jadeja 2 for 39. Umesh Yadav also bowled a very good line, but the pick of the bowlers to me was Ravindra Jadeja. He probably was unlucky not to get the wickets, but definitely he was a bowler with which the Aussies were definitely struggling, one could say. Now let's have a look at the Indian card. Now India were given a target of 441 runs for victory, and let's see what happened. Well, it all started, Stephen Smith for a change started off with Mitchell Stark and Nathan Lyon, and brought in Keefe later, and look at what happened. It all started with Murli Vijay being sent back. In fact, it was O'Keefe actually who actually got the first wicket, with India actually given a target of 441 runs for victory. Time was never a constraint. There was a lot of time in this match, and Steve O'Keefe actually had Murli Vijay LBW to start the proceedings for the Aussies, as Murli Vijay was gone for 2. After that, Nathan Lyon got into the act and trapped KL Rahul LBW for 10 with 1 boundary. Pujara was joined by Virat Kohli. Now this was very interesting. They had pushed the score, Pujara and Kohli had pushed the score to 47, and Virat Kohli, as I said, was an absolute key for India. If at all India had to really do a sort of a miracle, it's only Virat Kohli who has already shown how good his skills are in uneven pitches in the past, as he showed against West Indies and England, but could not come up with it today. What a delivery from Steve O'Keefe, and what a poor judgment from Virat Kohli. Steve O'Keefe, in fact, Virat Kohli was probably thinking this was the problem that Steve O'Keefe, the left-arm spinner, was creating in the minds of the Indians, because certain balls of his was never turning. He had a good arm ball, which was his strength, and that used to, and as you know, the arm ball goes straight. And especially Virat Kohli was actually, this is something which one has never seen that happen. Virat Kohli making an absolutely wrong judgment, as he thought the ball is going to pitch on the off stump and turn away, and Virat Kohli decided to shoulder arms to that such a delivery. But O'Keefe was very smart. The ball never turned, kept going straight and knocked off the off stump, and that was the wicket that Australia would have definitely needed very quickly, and they got it, so that they knew once Virat Kohli was gone, this match, that match was definitely in the bag, but if at all any miracle had to happen, that could have happened with the skills of Virat Kohli. But no, it didn't happen, and Virat Kohli was gone. Clean ball by Steve O'Keefe for 13 with 1-4. After that, The next wicket to go was Rahane, who was gone for 18 to the bowling of Steve O'Keefe, 18 with 3 boundaries, and after that it was nothing that they could. Cheteshwar Pujara was there at the crease, but all that Cheteshwar Pujara could do, he contributed 31 as he was gone. LBW bowled O'Keefe for 31 with 2 boundaries, and Ridhiman and then Ashwin also fell a victim to the bowling of Keefe. As I said, it was very difficult to pick up Steve O'Keefe, as some of his balls were turning, some of the balls were going straight in like an arrow, and O'Keefe was creating a lot of problems. Ashwin was gone for 8, Saha for 5, Jadeja was clean bowled by Nathan Lyon for 3, and after that the end came very quickly. Jayant Yadav was the last man to go, which brought victory cries from the Aussies, and why not? They truly deserve that, and I'm sure the party will go all night. I know that this is not a job that is finished, but at least they've broken the hoodoo. Jayant Yadav was out for 5, Ishan Sharma for 0, Umesh Yadav, and as I said, the manner of India's demise was something which has to really be seriously looked into. 107 all out, so just doing 2 better than what they did in the first innings, and definitely not. I mean, India could have done much better according to me, because when Stephen Smith, yes, he got 3 lives and he scored a century. I mean, it was a matter of application, I reckon. But yes, the pitch was tough, no doubt, but it was also tough for the Aussies. But India lost it the time in the first innings itself, and also it was a good toss to win. Probably if Kohli had won the toss, he might have also elected to bat, but ifs are ifs and buts are buts. You have to go in the current context of the game, and Australia deserve thorough credit for really doing it to the Indians. Indians were brought to book, one could say. So Australia leading the 4-match PTM Trophy Series 1-0, and congratulations to the Aussies. Mitchell Starc, 2 overs, none for 2. He just bowled 2 overs, both maidens. Nathan Lyon, 14.5 overs, 2 maidens, 53 runs and 4 wickets. So all the wickets were shared by the spinner. Steve O'Keefe, what a bowling spell. A dream spell for him. 12 wickets for 70 runs. His best analysis in Test cricket. 15 overs, 4 maidens, 35 runs and 6 wickets. Take a bow, Steve O'Keefe, who really derailed the Indian batting. 2 overs, none for 7 for Hazelwood. Steve O'Keefe from Australia, without any, there was absolutely no prizes for guessing. It was Steve O'Keefe who was the master, was the man of the match. Truly deserved it. And as I said, India have to do a lot of soul searching here, because looking at the way India played and the Australia played, one has to say it was a matter of some application, I reckon, even though it was an absolute rank turner. Because when the Aussies could make such runs, with Smith making a century, Starc making 60-odd runs, being all-rounder definitely, but again, he is still a lower order batsman, and also certain other Australian players also playing spin very well to make some useful contributions. It really begs the question as to what really went seriously wrong for the Indians. And Indians, I think, have got the wake-up call now, and now it will be a matter of the second Test match where the Indians have to put their best foot forward, but they have been put under pressure in the Test series, and Australia would have probably not even expected this, but definitely we got the information that Australia definitely, after looking at the way they shaped up in Sri Lanka, already had plans. And that's the plan that they worked into, and that's the precise reason they picked up the left-arm spinner Steve O'Keefe, knowing that India will have some turning pitches. And I would say the Indians have been given, they have been tamed in their own den, and that too in their own art of spin, and that is something which is really humiliating. And as I said, it was a wake-up call for India, I reckon. Dear fan subscribers, so that is as far as the India-Australia match goes. The second Test match will be played in Bangalore, and now let's look on to the third ODI between New Zealand and South Africa. As I said, The South Africans were the victors as they won the match by 159 runs. So South Africa batted first here, and it was a slow pitch, and Quinton de Kock has now 5 consecutive 50s. He contributed 68 with 70 of the 70. There were 6 fours and 2 sixes. So that was a good knock from Quinton de Kock. But Hashim Amla made only 7 runs. Du Plessis was a victim of Granholm for 36. But it was, South Africa, the innings was, A.B. de Villiers was the one who really played according to in the sense he really sussed up the pitch and knew that it was a matter of staying at the wicket. And that's what A.B. de Villiers did. And he did it to a nicety, as he was in no hurry. He started off in a very, very sedate fashion and slowly started building the innings. And he lost Dumini for 16, Miller for 3, Pretorius for 11 to the bowling of Ferguson. Pretorius was a very interesting dismissal as Lockie Ferguson, who got the ball to pitch and held its line, and it just eluded the bat of Pretorius and went on to hit the stumps. But A.B. de Villiers was really looking out for someone who could support him, and that came in the form of Wayne Parnell, who contributed a useful 35 of 32 balls, 2 fours and 1 6. And as we know, A.B. de Villiers is such a dangerous player, and that he proved once he got into the partnership with Wayne Parnell in the death overs. He started scorching boundaries. But definitely, I wouldn't say one of the best innings from A.B. de Villiers, but nevertheless, A.B. de Villiers, in the context of the game, it was a very, very important innings, as he made 85 of 80. That was 7 fours. Parnell hit out towards the end to make 35 of 32 balls, 2 fours and 1 6. 271 was the tally, and on this pitch, it was considered a good score because it was a slow pitch for sure, and also the outfield was also pretty slow. So considering that, one could definitely say it was a very good score. Tim Southey 1 for 66, Trent Boult 1 for 47. Lockie Ferguson was taken to the cleaners. Lockie Ferguson definitely was bowling at 150 clicks, no doubt about it. But the problem with Lockie Ferguson happens to be that his line, he's not getting his length right. Now, you can have pace, but you have to actually complement it by actually bowling a good line to keep the runs in check, as it is a one-day international. But that is something that Lockie Ferguson needs to really learn. 1 for 71 for him. Grandhomme bowled. It was Grandhomme and Mitchell Santner who were really, really good with their bowling. Grandhomme 10 was 2 for 40, but Mitchell Santner, he was really superb. He was also keeping A.B. de Villiers quiet with his nice variation of deliveries. 10 was 1 for 45 for Mitchell Santner. Now, New Zealand were given a target of 272 to win from their 50 overs, and it was a very, very poor display from the Kiwis. They definitely were not allowed to really wriggle out at all. It all started off with Tom Latham, who is really going through the real horror form, one could say, as he tried to play a ball through the square leg region of the bowling of Parnell. Dumini took the catch, was gone for naught, and Tom Latham really, really struggling big time in this series. After that, it was some very good economical bowling coming in. In fact, Rabada picked up the wicket of Brownlee for 2, caught behind. Felikawayo and Pretorius throttled the New Zealand batting lineup, and then Felikawayo forced Kane Williamson to actually tried to dab it to third man. In the process, lost his stumps to Felikawayo for 23, 40, that was 1 6. Ross Taylor's wicket was claimed by Pretorius LBW, 18 of 40, that was 2 fours. Neil Broom was wicket went to Felikawayo, who did a wonderful job. After that, it was never going to be easy. Nisham was out for 13 to Parnell. Santer lost his stumps to Pretorius for 1. Grandholme just stayed there, but could not do much at all. He remained not around 34, 2 fours and 2 sixes, but to no avail. After that, it was pretty quick work. Rabada picked up Southey's wicket for 5. Ferguson was gone by Imran Tahir for 4. Imran Tahir getting a solitary wicket, and Trent Boult for 4. 60 runs and 6 wickets were lost, and the New Zealand innings ground to a halt at 112, and that was not good batting from the Kiwis. Rabada 10 overs 2 for 39. It makes very good reading as far as the South African bowling was concerned. 8 overs 2 for 33 for Parnell. Felakawaya impressed. 5 overs 2 for 12. Had bowled a beautiful line. Pretorius was, I would say, was the best bowler. 5.2 overs remained in 5 runs, and he picked up 3 wickets. So Pretorius definitely showing that he is one who is improving every match. Imantai 4 overs 1 for 23, and South Africa lead the 5-match series now 2-1. A.B. de Villiers of South Africa very rightly was named man of the match. So this is as far as the South Africa take a lead, and now it will be, the onus will be on the Kiwis to actually win the 4th one-day international. Well, dear fans, subscribers, I have nothing else to share. I know, dear fans, subscribers, probably my sore throat has not really helped matters, but as I've always told you, it doesn't matter to me when it comes to cricket. It's just talking about cricket. I don't mind doing whatever it takes to come onto this show and talk to you. It's all because of your loyalty that you have to this favorite cricket show of yours, Cricket Happenings. So thanks for your company, and thanks for bearing with me here on this Cricket Happening show. This is your host Ram signing off this on a Saturday. Thank you.